Hey guys, Commander Jaime here, and I'm here with Alan Smith. He recently topped ARG at Kansas City with Fenrir Wiseman. He got 6th place out of top 8. So Alan, so why Wiseman?
Well, if you guys have watched the previous video when I topped at ARG Oklahoma City, I kind of bashed this deck, and I'm very sorry that I said what I said. One of my good friends, I've talked about him before, Curtis, he ended up building the deck, and the reason I'm playing it is strictly because I don't want to play it against it every day when we play test. So I took it specifically out of spite.
Interesting.
So that was the reason why I decided to play it. I've always been a fan of Genesis. I played Minerva when it came out.
Same here.
So it wasn't that I didn't like it. It was just I didn't want to keep going up against it every day. So I thought, well, the best way to solve this problem is to main the deck myself, and then I don't have to play against it. So
Unless you're in the mirror, but yeah.
we'll talk about that later, Jaime.
All right, cool. So, is there anything you want to go over with your deck profile? I noticed that there's some variety in your grade 2s.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a difference, especially with the people there as well. So there were two other Fenrir players that played at ARG that I'm aware of, and both of them, one played the Revelation build, so with Svava,
Yep.
and still had the Wiseman loop, but only had 2 Wisemen in the deck. So it would mainly focus on using Revelations to hit a trigger.
So basically, Wiseman was there if it ever came up.
Yeah, because you still play, the Gelja, the engine that you would usually play.
The Fenrir engine.
And the other person played a very, actually very, very similar to your build, Jaime, that you took to your event.
Yes.
That I saw previously, with the Lapwing engine and everything.
Yeah, that was definitely a build geared toward getting Wiseman as early as possible.
Yeah, and I respect that, and I like the build, but my thing is I have a tendency to somehow get stuck on lower grade Vanguards. So I didn't want to take the risk of getting stuck on an 8K for a draw and a Soul Charge 3. It wasn't a big enough reward.
Right.
I do play the Witch engine in the deck, and I also play a couple Revelation grade 2s. And I also play the Amber Clone just to, which does the same thing as Lapwing. If you really think about it, it just has to attack and be boosted. So
right, it does.
I thought I'll do this. I'll waste 1 counterblast to not have to be on 8K. It was worth it to me.
So that was your compromise. Gotcha.
Yeah, that was my compromise. I'll deal with having to waste a counterblast and a booster if I don't have to be stuck on an 8K Vanguard or have an 8K rearguard because it doesn't hit numbers like it should.
Yeah, understandable.
The other thing that I really I ended up picking up all 4 of my new G heal triggers at the event.
Nice.
I had 2, and I was scrambling around the last 10 minutes of before what I thought we were going to have to do deck checks. So I'm like, okay, I've got to find one before I start writing this down because I don't want to have to change it all later. We had some people that ended up being late, so they said, well, we're not going to do deck list today, and a giant weight lifted off my shoulders.
All right, start searching
so
for
I
them.
ended up finding the heal triggers I needed, which that G Guardian put in work all day long. It was so good.
That's good.
The only thing that could have really made the deck quote-unquote better is the GB8, which I did not pull after buying 2 boxes before the event started. I couldn't pull one.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So a little salty about that.
Yeah.
But
I was going to bring that up, actually, yeah. Athena's pretty good.
Yeah. Other than that, the deck is pretty standard. I'm not as focused on the Wiseman loop only because it's not... You could just as easily win on Vandergand very often. And
he's still a good stride.
Turn. Like, I'll go into tier once, burn through the main deck, and then go into Vandergand and, check 4 triggers, and it's usually GG unless they have prefer. People are really not smart if they don't nullify his attack or make it no pass.
Right.
Because I will hit a trigger.
Right, it's pretty much PG or die.
Yeah, it's... Because I play more crits than a standard build will, because I have a fear that, a stand can sometimes just be easier to block. If they let the Vanguard through, which they easily will do with Vandergand, if I hit an extra crit there, then it's GG.
So you wanted the extra crit over, let's say, more stands or more draw triggers, right?
Yeah,
understandable.
I don't know why people play draws never.
Yeah, in my build, I played a 7 crit and 5 stance, yeah. Just to have that extra crit pressure too.
Yep.
Yep, understandable. And I noticed that you were playing Launcher. Is that one of the new Cray elementals?
Yeah, it actually is. So about a week before the event, I played a Friday and a Saturday night local. It is my last locals for quite some time because of my work schedule. So I said, hey, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna try to go, win both these events. I ended up going undefeated uncontested both days.
Sweet.
Friday and Saturday, so it worked out really well. The Valancher I picked up specifically because I was getting days that I was getting stuck on Wiseman, and Maydew does not fix that if you start on a Maydew, which I was originally playing one of her.
Okay.
Valancher though will fix that because you get a draw, you do get power, and that benefit of getting that heal trigger back. If you ended up G-guarding the turn before, is super, super nice, especially that the new heal trigger will go into the soul as well. So it ends up being just a plus that you don't want to have to use, but if it's there, if not, it's Blizza fodder, because without a GB8, I still think Blizza's, other than Vannergan, the best, quote-unquote, big number finisher stride that Genesis has access to if you don't have the GB8.
Gotcha.
So
that's cool.
That was why that was played.
I'll actually probably consider that myself too.
Yeah, because if you end up getting stuck on Wiseman, you got to think, if you start on anything including tier, you're still not plussing back yet. You're trying to break even because that 10k body, you got to think the next turn when they swing at you, you're having to block that extra 5k to make it enough to block and stuff like that. And if they throw out grade 3s on the rear guard, then,
Yeah, it's really rough. You're losing out on a lot, and Fenrir gives you soul charging. It gives you the +1 if you want to use it, and all your other units that have Fenrir requirements are out of luck, unless you stride Fenrir, right?
Yep.
So yeah, cool.
And honestly, the deck really, I said it last time that I was a big Oracle Think Tank fan.
Yeah.
Because I played Tsukiyomi a long time ago, and then when I came back into the game, I picked up Minerva. So again, Fenrir's Genesis is doing that whole, it's not Oracle Think Tank, but it's built off of it.
Yeah.
And it's the more aggressive form of them, and that's what I love. Because OTT can't get good support, apparently.
Yeah, they're right now they're in a bad position, but I think in time. But cool. So, did you want to go over how your day went off?
Yeah. So, there was 3 of us that went from Springfield up to ARG. My friend Ryan, he played Prisms. Ended up getting 9th place. He was not happy about that.
Oh, short then.
And then my other friend Jacob, he played Grand Blue, and he had a great start to the day, and then it just went down from there. Night Rose could keep his consistency as much as he wanted to, so it was pretty sad that I was really hoping all 3 of us would top, but what are you going to do? It's going to happen sometimes.
Right, but still, that's good. At least one of you topped.
Yeah, I was. We made our money back with what I ended up pulling in prize pool, so it ended up working out. So round 1 started. I played against Gold Paladin Gurgit. I've had a lot of practice against that deck, so I was not at all nervous at all. It was someone that I've played before at previous events. I won. I went to game 1, and I'm starting my Wiseman loop, and he just instantly picks up his deck and says, "I'm done." So that's how game 1 went. He's like, "It's bullcrap. It's no skill." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm not trashing your deck, sir."
Right.
I ended up losing round 2. I didn't have enough shield. That does end up happening. The problem with Fenrir is you don't get as many cards in your hands as you'd like, because you have to kind of keep specific pieces in your hand for certain plays and certain guards. You need stuff in the drop zone at certain times in the game, and I would have rather hit a heal than risk what was in my hand, because if I would have kept what was in my hand, and next turn I probably would have won. So he got game 2. Game 3, I Wiseman looped him again. He got grade stuck at 0, 1, and 2.
Ooh, so you just abused him.
Yeah, it was difficult. He opened a hand of all 0s, and it went downhill from there.
Ouch.
Couldn't G-assist correctly. Finally got to 3 and strode once, but at that point I had so much advantage.
Yeah, that wasn't looking pretty at all for
drawing
him.
cards.
Yeah.
It didn't really.
I was gonna say that, I mean, I think with the whole Wiseman deck, it does involve thought in it. It's just that people see it, oh, it's just this one loop and I'm dead. You can kill people with Wiseman with just a couple of attacks. It doesn't have to be like the main loop every time.
I've had games where I won't even like I don't see a Wiseman. If you notice in my deck list, I also play Kotonoha.
Yeah,
and
she's great.
People do not think she's the good one. Yeah,
she's almost like a pseudo Wiseman.
Yeah, she's definitely an MVP in the deck, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that was round 1. Round 2, I played against Link Joker Chaos, which is what I was fearing all day. If you can see in the deck list there, I do not play pokers.
Yep.
Because I'm smart and I think that this isn't gonna hurt me. My locals is quite a few Link Joker players, so I'm very used to it. I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. I go into that every time, and then I start cold sweating as soon as I see them flip their start. I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
Alan, you need to start listening to what people tell you. Ended up 2-0ing him, looping him both games. So it worked out. I ended up... I got game 1, I was at 5 damage very, very early because I was not going to risk things in my hand because I knew if I called out rear guards, they were going to get locked. If he goes in the universe, they're going to get locked. I just need to keep everything in my hand and go from there. I ended up going Bannergan and triple healing.
Wow.
So that saved me. I will 100% say that game 1, was absolutely all on what was on the top of the deck. And then I ended up Wiseman looping him the next turn, so it worked out fine. Game 2, again with him getting grade stuck, he ended up getting to he was grade stuck at 1, so he couldn't find it 2. He ended up finding it in the G assist, but again, once Fenrir gets a little bit of advantage that it tries so hard to get, it is usually fine.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say, with Chaos, it also needs his combo pieces, and if they had to G assist, that hurts them a lot too.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
And when you said you did the Wiseman loop on one of your games, so he wasn't able to lock your front row, like both circles?
I didn't call anything out for him to lock, and he couldn't get onto Universe until... So I ended up having a circle still open.
Okay.
So he locked one with Universe's stride.
Yeah.
I had a circle open on the other side because I refused to call stuff out.
Right.
And then I Wiseman looped it.
Oh, so you basically got there before the second Universe. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that I can see. Cool. That worked out.
So yeah, again, I always get cold sweats right before I play that deck.
Yeah,
scared.
I suggest the one poker because you could always like grab it from Soul or drop with Iris and all that stuff. But if you don't really think the Link Joker matchup is that much of a big deal, then you could get away with it.
Like I said, I had a problem with it when I went to IYG, and that was my slap on the wrist. Hey, put a poker in your deck, and I still didn't do it. But this time it paid off, so I'm just gonna keep playing with fate until it finally.
Understandable. Yeah.
So,
cool.
I know it's a good card. I know it can save your plays and it can win you games.
Right.
In that matchup, but I'm way too stubborn to just put it in there.
It's not a card that we want to play, but it's one of those cards you have to play if you had to deal with that matchup more than often enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
So we go into round 3, and I'm at table 3, and I end up fighting against Night Rose. So everybody that knows me knows I talk a lot of trash to both 7 Seas grade 1 Rush and Night Rose. I don't think they are consistent. I think that decks that, and this is me bad-mouthing myself kind of too, because I play a deck that does have a strong deck-out option, but again, Genesis has the option to reset their deck with Dreaming Dragon and with the new G-Guardian, it can put stuff back. So I think I can get a little less crap for it because of that, but I have a lot of issues with Grand Blue. I hate it because 7 Seas Rush, if you hit a trigger on your damage zone, you're fine, you're safe. I've played against it multiple times. It does not scare me. I don't know how it won Worlds. I do not understand. And then Night Rose, with the Night Rose stuff, I just don't think it's again, a deck that goes against the game mechanic of having a deck and having to mill out so much and not being able to have a recovery like Dreaming Dragon, I think you're playing with fire too much.
It can be.
I know that Mick is a thing, and I know that they can recover a little bit, but again, it's not something like Dreaming Dragon where it recovers the entire drop zone and you reset your whole plays.
So it sounds like you really value the utility use of Dreaming Dragon.
Yeah, and also the new G Guardian, because she ended up, again,
That's right.
3 cards back, and then you go into a Dreaming Dragon the next turn. Like, 3 cards can mean, if you're on a low deck and you don't want a Dreaming Dragon yet, because you have everything you want in the Soul, so you don't want to have to Soul Blast all those things out, that G-Guard can give you a 3-card, 3 extra cards in the deck that you can, you've got a little more time before you have to reset
right.
that.
Pretty much your drive check for a grade 4. Right.
Yeah, it's just... I've always had an issue with Grand Blue, and I kind of got smacked in the face for it this time because I played against Night Rose, against a good friend of mine named Tron, and I got utterly destroyed both games. I could not stride game 2. I looped him twice game 1, and I did not kill him.
Did it just have a big enough hand and you weren't that big?
Yeah, and then the game 2 when I ended up losing, like I said, I only strode once. He was at GB8, and that pirate ship can,
yeah.
That was the first time I've ever played against GB8 that they've successfully gotten off. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't do anything about this.
Yeah.
So I really got I got my just desserts on the whole hating Night Rose thing. Still haven't lost to 7 Seas Rush, so I'm gonna still keep that one there. I think any deck that again plays the grade 1 game, like it's directly impacting the state of the game. I'm not being salty because I know how to play around those decks. I've played them enough. I've got friends at locals that play those decks.
Yeah, that makes the whole difference, right? Knowing
like
how
I
to play
said
against
before,
them.
People have different metas, but when I watch a matchup where someone with a highly advanced deck loses to 7 Seas grade 1 Rush, even with the new stuff, even when Night Runner was a thing, I'm like, are you an idiot?
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I think it has a good chance of topping consistently, because some people just don't know how to play it against it,
Yeah,
that plays a huge factor. They think that, I'm going to try to kill him as fast as possible, but 7 Runners is a deck that can kill you back real quick,
Hit a damage trigger.
And
I know you can't control that, but actually I can control that. And I've done this
with Revelation. That's true.
I'll call my turn 1. I'll go call Geldrick, call something with Revelation, check top card. Oh, it's a trigger. It's staying right there. It shuts them down the next turn. I've literally not attacked my Vanguard before, so I can keep a trigger on top.
Interesting.
Because that deck, that's the way you play. That's the easiest way to play around that deck is you hit a damage trigger. They can't continue to rush because their numbers can't get high enough.
Makes sense.
And they lose their hand. They waste all of the resources, to call out and to mill from the top of the deck early. Then if you get to grade 3, there is no reason why you should not win because they don't have a hand.
Because they pretty much called out stuff, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I got my just rewards on the Night Rose thing, and I'll learn to not badmouth it at the event, beforehand and after. That's fine, but not at the event.
Gotcha.
Because I was talking a lot of crap, and I absolutely deserved what happened to me there.
So next round.
I lost that round, and then I played against one of my friends, and I had to play Fenrir mirror match. Now, this was absolute heck. This was the most annoying match all day. This was worse than Grand Blue. Because if you ever play a mirror match in Vanguard, you can't just think about yourself. Like, when you're playing against any deck, obviously, you have to think about what they're doing. But if you're playing against yourself, you have to think of what would you do in this situation, and what will they do that'll be different than what you're doing, even though you're playing almost the same deck.
Exactly.
You have to second guess yourself, and then you can't figure out what they're doing, because there's 2 options. They're going to do what you're doing, or they're going to do something else, but you have to figure what that something else is. That something that you would do? It's so much... it was despicable. And it was horrible because it was such a low damage fight. I was saying that earlier. Neither one of us would loop Wiseman probably over 2 Geljas. So we do it twice, he'd get plus 12, and then we'd be done. We would not overextend more than that.
Right. Not ready for the
And
kill.
it was horrible the entire time. I was so angry. I hate mirror matches.
So what happened then?
I hate it. The same reason why I play Fenrir so Curtis can't is the reason I hate mirror matches. Same concept. I don't want to play against this deck, so I play this deck so I don't have to play against it. What ended up happening is game 1, we go into time for game 1. We're at 3 damage when time is called, or 2 damage when time is called. So that was again, we were doing everything we could not to overextend, so we had hand, because I mentioned earlier, Fenrir has a problem of keeping a hand size because it uses it for the big combos that it has.
Yeah,
it's not like
if you overextend, yeah, definitely. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and you want to overextend because you want to kill them with the Wiseman combo, and typically you can. If you do it correctly, you can kill them unless they have 36 card hand. We'll get to that later too, because that happened. So it ends up going into game 2. I win game 2. I go onto tier, and I end up looping Wiseman while I'm on tier.
Sweet.
Because I soul charged the correct pieces.
So first stride
and
kill.
And then I just keep getting your soul. Yeah. What was that?
So first stride kill with Wiseman.
Yeah. And then game 3, I get grade stuck. This was my Grand Blue luck coming back and biting me in the ass again. I get grade stuck at 2. I can't find a 2. And then when I find a 2, I can't find a 3. So I end up having to G-assist a second time into Fenrir. I end up double critting him, and he kills me in the next turn with Wiseman. So that was not fun. So 2 losses in a row. I thought my day was over. I was so angry. I had to play against the mirror. I'm like, what the heck? What's going on today? And then I ended up getting paired up to a Luard player in round 5.
Okay.
And this particular Luard player had been talking a lot of shit all day. And again, I was talking about Curtis earlier. He plays Luard, so I've been very exposed to the deck. I know how to play against it. I built his deck, so I'm aware of how the deck runs. Game 1, I end up going on to Fenrir. I go into Bannergand. I don't kill him on that turn. I'm like, well, I can't stride this turn. So I loop Gelja into a Kota Noha and Fenrir, so I'm giving 3 to both on every swing. I call out 2 Stake Fetters, the crit trigger, and then I swing. He does not know what Fenrir's GB2 is, so he's like, oh, it's fine. Ability, crit, game. That's the other really good thing about Fenrir is people only think Wiseman's the only thing that can kill you.
Right.
Wiseman and strides. They don't think that Fenrir is an issue. But I'm sorry, but that glory crit effect has saved me numerous times, that being one of them.
Definitely it's well timed.
So underrated. Especially if you can get him more power. I mean, I don't typically extend to get him like at a stride level, but I mean if I can, swing a 21k Fenrir and he's got glory crit and I know they have a perfect card in hand, or if they don't know what it does, like it happened to the Luard player, then I mean it works.
Definitely, yeah. You still win.
Yeah, game 2, I ended up actually getting the correct Wiseman loop off, and he's scratching his head. He's like, why is this a thing? When Wiseman attacks, shouldn't he have to stay rested, or doesn't the attack stop if he stands back up? I'm like, dude, do you know the rules?
Wow.
You play Luard.
So he didn't know.
I don't want to hear it about doing cheeky things. You strike for free every turn. I don't want to hear it. He was already upset with me that I didn't explain Fenrir's skill, but he didn't ask, and I mean,
right, it's not your job to really explain.
Yeah, it's not my job.
It's public knowledge, so he could just pick up the card and read.
Yeah, and he didn't, so that's his own fault.
Yeah.
And, the Wiseman loop is absolutely one of those cheeky things that shouldn't exist, but it does.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, you could do it with any card that can Soul Blast. I mean, the Gil, he can't do it as much, but he can stand twice. I mean, if you get a sizable amount of power on him, he can do the same thing as Wiseman. And on the other note, if we ever get a card that Soul Blasts, it's going to be the same problem. People are going to say the same thing. It's
Right.
just
That's what people
because
are
the plus 4 that
saying.
Wiseman gets is completely irrelevant. That 4K does not matter at all. It's the fact that he Soul Blast during battle that matters.
Right.
So,
The +4 is a bonus.
If we had a grade 1 that did it, people would think the same thing. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's just something that can Soul Blast during battle.
Exactly. That's
So
what
I
causes
won.
the Taro interaction. Yep.
Yeah. So I won my match against Luard, and then I'm waiting for tops to be posted. And the person that I ended up losing to against Fenrir ended up being 8th place.
Oh.
So I thought that was very funny because he lost his next 2 rounds. He won his first 3, so he ended up being the same record that I was, but
yeah.
I ended up topping above him, so I was very happy about that. So it ended up being 2 boxes of Fighters Collection and 5 packs. Now, I'm hoping, of course, that I pull a Palace Athena because I've been looking for one since she came out. Pull nothing. I pull everything for both of my friends that I brought with me that I said I'd give them for bringing me up there.
Yeah.
Didn't pull anything of mine. I was so frustrated. I was so angry.
That's unfortunate.
So 2 boxes and 5 packs. How many packs is that, if I may?
I don't know, because it was FC, right? So it's different.
Yeah, it was
I
ridiculous.
think it was like 10 packs in there. I don't know.
Yeah, I do believe it's 10. So 25 packs, and I can't pull a freaking Palace Athena.
And so you guys just split top 8?
Yeah, we ended up splitting top 8. What won the event, which people were very, very frustrated at, was I don't know if you've seen it, but it's called The Wall.
The Wall?
And it's the Bermuda Legion Midair.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that deck is stupider than Wiseman.
Is it because it's
21 cards in hand, like, you loop your Legion, you can't
right.
deck them out. They get power every time something's bounced, so when they G-Guard, they get a ton of power.
Right.
It's the most annoying thing on the face of the earth. I watched people play against it, and I'm like, this is so annoying. I know what people think when they play against me. Like,
interesting.
there's so many combo people working together that should not work together. Like, that's the thing. The engine is like Duo, Prism, Harmony, Legion. It's stupid, and it makes me mad.
Yeah.
It's retarded. I get so angry at it.
I'm interested in the deck list.
I'll find it for you, and I will send it to you because it is so annoying.
Nice, thanks.
What?
I said thanks. So, you guys split for top 8, and
yeah,
you
ended up winning.
So you got into it. So you got your invite, right?
Yes, I did. I'm very happy about it because I waited way too long last time to get it. So it's nice to get it at the beginning of the season. It's in Philly, so it's a little closer to home. A little easier to get to.
So after this whole eventful day, what did you learn from it?
I learned not to make fun of Granblue if there are Granblue players at the event.
And they
I
just come
learned
back.
to not play against them. Don't play the mirror. Pick a different deck. I'm kidding.
Was there anything that you would change in the deck, or would you just play a different deck from a different event?
See, people... So, I played Blue Waves at the last event that I went to.
Yeah.
Not IYG, but at Oklahoma City, the one that we
Yeah.
reviewed together. Your build, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I stopped playing Blue Waves because I ended up picking up Thing Saver.
Interesting.
I hadn't really experimented in Legion days. I was playing Minerva. I didn't play Yggdrasil. I don't think Yggdrasil.
Okay.
So I ended up picking up Thing Saver. Really enjoyed it, but
It does look like a fun deck.
No, it's absolutely fun. I still have it. I still play it once in a while, but it's so. This is your only combo for you type thing. I feel like if you can't double Thing Saver someone with a pure Thing Saver deck, and I know there's decks that play like the MLB engine in there.
Yeah.
And like I've even seen Saint guard thing saber, which is really interesting.
Right.
I don't like mixing things. I'm very OCD.
Okay.
I like having one specific key win condition, and then if another one pops up, that's fine. But I don't want to focus the deck on Blaster, Thing Saber, MLB, and Saint Guard all in one. That would bother me.
Right.
I've seen it done, and it's good. It's proven that it's good, but it's a lot of my OCD. The same reason I don't play one-ups. It drives me freaking crazy. That's why I'm not playing poker, Jaime, because I can't deal with one-ups. I had this conversation before.
Just play 3.
I don't like one-ups. So as far as I played that, and then I picked up Fenrir. I've had the original Fenrir build for a while, but Curtis had talked about wanting to play Fenrir, so I'm like, okay, I'll build it. So I built it for him, and like I said, I had to keep playing against it. And then I tried playing Monero. I'm like, okay, Genesis against Genesis. This will work, right? No, does not.
Not with
does
Wiseman.
not work. As good as the Regalia Stride is, she is no Fenrir. That's horrible to say because I love the deck so much. But I'm just like, what else can I play that can beat this deck, that can consistently beat Fenrir? Because I was not winning at all. I was trying every deck that I have. And I have one of every clan. So I was testing everything against this deck.
Yeah.
And I could not beat it, and it was making me very... I built Gears, and I couldn't get around it. I built Zodiac Time Beast, couldn't get around it. It was making me so angry. So I'm like, Curtis, I'll build you Luard if you give me that deck. So, and that's I built him Luard, and I play Fenrir now.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool.
But as far as things that I was surprised about that I would keep that, impressed me, again, staying on Fenrir and his GB2. Because, again, it's something people don't expect. The same reason why back when I topped with Tsukiyomi, when I played Tsukiyomi Susanoo, people don't know what Susanoo does. The first form of him that gets a crit if you reach 4 cards in hand. I like underwhelming things like that. It's like, oh, that's what it does. Yeah, and I've already activated his skill, so you die.
I had a similar experience with Nubatama, where I was playing the Break Right with Shiranui. And I can Break Right into Shiranui, and you normally would stride into a Toggle Lord. But I couldn't stride, and I was like, oh yeah, Shiranui has a GB2 skill. It gets +5 and a crit on top of Break Riding.
Yeah.
So if they don't have enough shield, they could just die from 4 damage.
It's very handy. I agree. 100%.
Yeah, it's those little things that could come up, and they come up once in a while.
No, they absolutely come up, and those days are good. Like when things like that happen, it's very fun. So that was my day. Like I said, I really wouldn't put the Lapwing engine just because I don't like that 8K.
Yeah.
For me,
I think that's a player preference at that point.
Yeah. I can get the same thing from other skills.
Okay. Cool. So
speaking of Fenrir,
yeah.
What do you think about our new support that we're getting in September?
I have mixed feelings. It's all theory right now. I haven't had the time to actually get some practical testing in. I did feel like we did get shafted on the new Fenrir Grade 3.
You and everybody else?
Yeah, right. And I don't know what Bushi's idea is, but it sounds like they want to push the new Grade 3 Amarura. And I haven't tested her, so I can't say good or a bad thing, but I think Fenrir is a really good break stride because he's a really good engine to keep your Genesis strides and combo pieces going. It soul charges for you, you can get a +1 from its skill, and then you have all this great support that works with it, like Gelja, the crit triggers, the Gojals, and so on. It helps Genesis flow without worrying the need to soul charge, because I felt like playing Regalia and even Witches a bit, you had a need to play units that soul charge, like rear guards.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
With that weight lifted off, then you have room to play other units, and the units like Wiseman, for example, that Soul Blast can now be a practical thing.
Yeah, that's why that loop became a thing.
Right.
I'm convinced.
Right.
So my theory behind it is I am in complete agreement with you on the new Fenrir.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the key to Bushy's statement with all of the new Genesis support lies in the SP pack. If you look at what's in it, Fenrir is still there. The fact that they could have easily made a new stride or like an Amarunda-based stride, which I do think we'll get eventually, depending on what happens during the anime.
True.
I think Ishtar's amazing, and I think she's better with Fenrir than with Amarunda. But I think the fact is a lot is to be said that this is going to be Fenrir's. Let's see, he was printed as a GR, an SGR, and now he'll be
an SP.
An SP.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they're giving Fenrir, they're still giving him enough love. I don't think he's going away.
Right. I think he'll make a comeback, like the character that plays him in the show.
I think he's.
Yeah.
So, I've always been someone. Again, I played Think Tank when it came out. I've always been someone who's played female grade 3s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't had a quote unquote avatar that has fit me.
Okay.
But I think Bushiroad is making. And then Minerva came out, so that happened again. Just can't get any guys here. It's all girls here. But when they made Fenrir, I think they're... Because there's honestly a lot of card fighters that do play female clans, like Bermuda and things like that.
Yeah.
That are females. And the same thing with Genesis and Warp and things like that. I think the fact that they made Fenrir male, which they easily could have, gave him tits.
Make him a female.
We've seen it done before. People think Susanoo's still a girl, which pisses me off, but that's another story. But I think the fact that they made him a guy and they're continually, like, even if it's a little support, they're saying, hey, he's still here, but here's something that you can play with him.
Right.
My lineup, because I've tested the deck, my lineup is going to be 4 OG Fenrir, because he's beautiful, and I finally have an SP, so I'm not getting rid of it ever.
Nice.
I played 2 Amarunda and 2 Wiseman. Fact of the matter is, Amarunda is a better draw engine every day of the week.
Interesting.
You draw a card when you stride. It's too good. You give 2 units plus 4, and you can stride for free, because you can Soul Blast 3 cards with Revelation and the Soul, and stride.
Yeah, that's why I said I haven't had any practical testing yet, so I can't give a say if she's really good or not that great or decent. So, yeah.
I think that there will always be a place as long as the stand trigger is legal and as long as Gelja is legal, which is a big part of the Wiseman combo, is Gelja.
Yeah. Right, giving the power-ups.
Yeah, as long as they're legal, Fenrir will always be the main unit. But I will say that Amarunda, if you know for a fact you can't stride, maybe not, this will be the last turn that you can stride.
Yeah.
You ride into Amarunda, and then next turn you'll be able to stride for free.
That's true. So you think that if you don't get the stride fodder for next turn, you can do that? I see.
Yeah, I think it's a solid background. I think you should always play Wiseman because those cards exist.
Right.
And because they need Fenrir.
Yeah.
I think that's always going to be a thing that's going to be in the deck. I don't think he'll ever be at 4 again, because I think there's going to be more combos. I think, like with Ishtar, you can do the Wiseman loop with a Kotonoha.
Right, you have all these other units that can restand because of the Soul
Ishtar
Blast.
stands unit. Yeah. And I think it's really going to help the GB8, because Genesis does not have any way to really get there quickly.
But now we do with Ishtar.
Yeah, because she flips every time her skill is fulfilled. So every time you drive check a grade 1 or greater with Revelation, you Soul Blast 3 and stand a unit and give 2 units plus 4.
Yeah, and if you got a Taro, you just sand something else on top of that.
Yeah, it's too good.
I think so too.
I think it's better on Fenrir still, because again, you can possibly get a unit out when you're doing all of that and give it 4.
Not
it's simultaneous effects.
Yeah, not to mention that you have the soul to do it more than once.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think the witches are not going to be a thing anymore, because you're going to want to play all Revelation units. I think Lapwing will finally get his funeral, because I think
maybe
you would always rather play units that have Revelation now that you're going to have more than one good win condition in the stride deck.
Yeah, you definitely have more Revelation options.
Because your win condition in Fenrir Wiseman is Banner Gand or Wiseman. That's it.
Right.
And then, of course, any other, like, regular ways that you just end up critting them and things like that. Like things aren't that the deck is not made for.
Right.
But now with Ishtar, you opened up a lot more plays.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely, yeah. I'm looking forward to Genesis though. So
I'm scared of Domination. That's going to be interesting.
I think that's another conversation for another time. we're bumping up 40 minutes right now.
You're good. You're good.
So if you like, we can get together again later on, and we can have a more discussion of the next set coming up.
Absolutely, not a problem.
Cool. Well, thanks, Alan. And so, guys, feel free to subscribe, like, and comment, and share. And I hope you enjoyed this chat discussion with Alan and his top with Fenrir and Wiseman. Is there anything you want to say before we head out, Alan?
No, just we'll have more videos coming soon, hopefully. More collabs.
Yeah, definitely.
Good conversations. So
I enjoyed them too. So yeah.